I have a question for you. So today is the 2nd of August 2024 and it happens to be the 80th anniversary of the death of a young man. He was killed thousands of miles from home. He was only 22 years old. He was American and he died on one of the New Forest airfields in extremely tragic circumstances. Now, stories like this really fascinate me and interest me because I think it's so important that these people aren't forgotten about. It's the human element of those stories rather than any connection to wartime. And what I tend to do, I'll occasionally, if I'm out in the forest like I am today, I'll have my mobile phone with me like I do now, and I might just shoot a small 2-minute film and I'll put it on my Twitter account. If you don't know me on Twitter, my handle is New Forest Ramble, all one word, New Forest Ramble. I'll put it below. And they're quite well received on Twitter. People find them interesting, but I was wondering, are these the sort of things I should be putting on YouTube? The people who follow me on YouTube and subscribe to me, are they interested in these stories of air crashes, bravery, sacrifice, which might just be short videos like the one I'm doing now? I'd really like to know. So I'm going to show you, or play you the film that I recorded a few days ago about this chap who died, and I filmed it on my mobile. If you can comment, just say, is this the sort of story, do you want to hear stories like this or not? Please do comment and tell me. But meanwhile, this is the story of Robert Steinhaus, and I'm going to play it for you now. I'm just walking at Beaulieu Airfield at the moment in the New Forest. I thought it was a good time just to tell you a story I know about this place, because it occurred to me it's around 80 years ago this week or over the next few weeks. So in July and August of 1944, the Free 23rd Bomb Group moved into Beaulieu Airfield. They're an American Air Force group flying B-26 Marauders. They're these medium-range bombers, and they're just here for 2 months, July, August. I don't believe any men are killed in action during that time. Now, they're supporting the Allied advances that goes down through France with these bombing missions, supporting the troops on the ground. And as I said, I don't think any of the men were killed in action, but there was this rather tragic incident that possibly occurred where I'm stood now. If we look over there where that white van's parked, it's parked up in what was one of the old dispersal areas for the airfield. So the B-26 Marauders would have been parked in spots like this. Now, there was one pilot called Robert Steinhaus. He was 22, very young pilot, and him and his crew are in possibly this dispersal pan behind me, or one that was dotted around the airfield, and they go to take off with a lot of other B-26 Marauders that are also going to be taking off on that same operation. Now, as they come out of the dispersal pan onto the perimeter track, which we see behind me, they hit a bump or something. There's this flare gun hooked up inside the cockpit, and it falls to the floor. A flare ignites, and the flare severs its hydraulic line. There's this catastrophic fire within the cockpit. Now, the other Marauders are taking off from the airfield, and they see this happening to their colleague, the Steinhaus crew. They see the crew members trying to frantically come out of the cockpit engulfed in flames. They can't stop. They have to carry on with their mission. So the other Marauders go, and they probably come back about 2 hours later, not knowing what's happened to Steinhaus and his crew. And when they're debriefed back in the ops rooms, they find out that Steinhaus was killed in that fire, aged 22. The rest of the crew did survive with serious injuries. It's just one of many stories that this airfield holds, and a rather tragic one that happened around 80 years ago this month.